Hello and welcome back to the DrEnderPickles show. Today I have Todarac. Todarac, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, friends. This is Todarac, DrEnderPickles.
So I'm just gonna hop right into questioning. So when did you find 2B2T and where did you find it?
Hopping right into it. I think the first time I ever heard of 2B2T was on 4chan in 2012. It was on the video game board /V, and I played on Anarchy servers before then, but this was a cool one. And like many other people, the age of the map at that point was impressive. Even in 2012, it was like, wow, the server hasn't restarted in 2 years. So I got a couple of my friends to play. We're all on Skype, and there were like 4 or 5 of us, and we all went out and made a base, like 100k out, which is like really fucking far for us at the time. And we made a base for a few months. We played during the summer of 2012, and then after a few months, we stopped. But that base stuck around, and funnily enough, I kept 2B2T on my Minecraft server list. It was always just kind of like at the bottom, and every year or so, or every couple months, I would get online to check if that base was still standing. It was an underwater, like underground base, and it was. Every time I checked, it was still there. And then when the server got fucking popular again in 2016, I had like a little base to start from. And then summer 2016 when Russia joined, I'm like, all right, I think I'll play for real this time. And I got really interested in the server, and yeah, it's all history from there.
Yeah, so you came back in 2016, and what were some of the immediate things that took place when you came back?
I didn't go back to spawn, so I wasn't too familiar. I was already like 100k out, like I said, but I don't know, man. I remember the chat at that time. I remember just how fucking chaotic it was. I had the veteran queue, so that's frankly one of the reasons I stayed. If I didn't have vet queue, I probably wouldn't have fucking stayed. But I felt like I had like some sort of special club card, so
Yeah.
I decided to, yeah, I decided to pack up my shit and go into the millions and make a base. As you do. And I played single player with chat for something like a year and a half. But I didn't mind at all. Like, I just wanted to make a base, and talking to people was fun. I was kind of semi-active on the subreddit when it wasn't as complete shit. It's always been kind of shit. Now it's extra shit, but it was at least bearable back then.
So
And
I was gonna say, so
yeah,
tell
go
me
on.
about that first base that you made when you came back. Maybe some of the people that were with you.
I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was called the City of Towers. It was called Turim, Turrim, City of Towers. And fun fact, it got griefed about 3 months ago now by Jared, and it's one of his videos on his channel now. So
Link in description.
yeah, there's my city being griefed, guys. But that city lasted a good 3.5 years, which that's a pretty good run. It started as a single player base, or like IRL friends, and then as the time went on, and as I kind of transitioned into the spawn masons, which we'll get into, I started inviting more and more masons. So by the time it was griefed, there were probably like 3 or 4 IRL friends and like 4 different masons there, so almost like 10 people. And yeah, I can find a picture of it if you want, but let's look at Jared's video. But it seemed like it was a matter of time. I saw it coming from a mile away. Like the months up to it being griefed, I was getting strangers arriving at my base and like messaging me on Discord, and that's never a good sign. So,
And I mean, 3 years is pretty good.
yeah. That first base, although I talked about, I called it Atlantis. It was like an underwater glass dome. That shit lasted 5.5 years. That got griefed in 2018. So I'm due for a new base.
Exactly. I mean, what's the fun in anarchy if you don't lose a few bases here and there?
Yeah, shit happened.
You gotta restart at some points.
I swear, I went through like all 5 phases of grief like a year before my city got griefed, because I knew Jared had cords. I think he was just sitting on them. And so I went through all the panic and the denial and the bargaining and the sadness. And then by the time he got griefed, I was like, yeah, okay.
See,
I was like, not.
in my mind, he has just this huge calendar of bases. He's like, I'm gonna grief it on this day.
Oh, he does.
Make a video on this day.
I swear, I think it's a subtle power move by him.
Planned.
He griefed it on my birthday, and he claims he didn't know it was my birthday, but he has my docs. And I think that that's just that's what a power play that is.
So while we're on the topic of bases, you based at Summermelon, which
Yeah.
is definitely has a lot of drama surrounding it. So what was your perspective of everything that went on there, and maybe some of your favorite memories from the base?
Summermelon was the first time on the server where I was like humbled, like, and I'll explain what I mean. But like before then, I was pretty much a nobody new fag. Like my diamond armor wasn't even fully enchanted. I was like just making shit out in the millions at my own base, and then through some connections from Wintermelon and pictures of the base I was currently building, and with communications with Tashi and Vexent, over the course of months, I slowly gained their trust and was invited. And I'll be the first to say it before anyone else calls me out on it. I was only at Summermelon for like a few weeks before it got destroyed, so I didn't really get to build that much. Summermelon lasted for probably like 4 or 5 months total, which is really short. And I was like one of the last 2 people to be invited. I was invited at the same time as a guy called Big Don, who was actually the guy who griefed it. So we were invited at like the same day, but he waited a few weeks. That's a whole different story. The whole Summermelon thing is kind of a clusterfuck. But
yeah, that's interesting. You know, a lot of people might not know about what exactly took place there with Big Don. So could you explain some of what your perspective on that situation was?
there's a really good post by Offtopia on the Reddit that really broke down the whole thing. But off the top of my head, here's how I think it went down. Fit griefed Summermelon because Offtopia was at it. But the reason that Fit did that is because Big Don briefed Fit's like rocket base. It was like some like sky base, Rocket Town rocket base. And that really pissed off Fit, and he wanted revenge. And it had something to do with Offtopia. So none of the builders at Summermelon, I think even Offtopia included, had anything to do with like pissing off Fit. It was like just this Big Don guy. So I think he used that as some justification to grief it. But
Post will be linked in description.
Yeah, there's a really good summary by Offtopia, and I know some people hate Offtopia, but it is kind of a good summary.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting to have Offtopia on. To be honest, I don't know. He's kind of a controversial figure, so might be pretty interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people like to call him Offtism.
Exactly. That's the kind of material I need.
Yeah.
So you were at Summermelon, and weren't you also at Blockade Mecca?
I was, and sadly, it's a really similar story.
Also a very large base with a lot of controversy.
I was. People like to think that I'm the griefer in this shit, but I swear I was invited at the same time as a griefer for that one too. So with Block Game Mecca, I was a lot closer with Autism Bot or Slappin' and fucking Mothra and Joey Coconut, for example. And like I put a sign down, like, this plot of land claimed for Todarac, please do not build here. And then like 24 hours, the whole thing was griefed. 24 hours later.
At least they didn't build in your plot of land.
Yeah, that's still there. It's on the museum, so it's my very, very accomplished contribution to Block Game Mecca. It's on the archive, brother.
Came to the base and said claimed.
Yep. My work here's done.
So, let's wait, actually, before we move on from bases, I want to ask you about Sniper's Peaceful Islands, too, because you were there as well.
I'm surprised you knew I was there. Yeah.
Because, I used to talk to Sniper a lot, but I really haven't seen him around much anymore.
That was a fun little base. I don't actually know if it was blown up or not. I think it was. Like, I built another underwater dome there, too, and it was a friendly group of people. It was my first time meeting, like, Sage Mathias. It was my first time meeting XCC. I think it was XCC. No, it wasn't. It was fucking some other old fag. But, yeah, it was a fun little base. I wasn't there for too long. It was like a couple months, but I did build some stuff there, and me and Sniper still get along.
Yeah, I missed that guy. It was hilarious.
Yeah, every time me and Sniper talk, he brings up weird sexual shit. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I know,
cool.
He's so weird, but so funny.
He is. He's a cool guy. I'd like to meet him in real life someday, seriously.
I think, doesn't he have a YouTube channel with his dad or something?
Does he?
I think so, honestly. I think he made videos with his dad or something. Link in description if I can find it.
Bro, I have
So
an
many,
epic
so many
picture of
links.
Sniper holding a katana.
Of course, that makes sense.
But
I
yeah,
can
a
see
lot of these
Sniper doing
bases.
that. But so now that we talked about a few of the bases that you've been at, I want to know more about the Purge because I've heard about that event on Tubi. I wasn't really around for it because I was gone for a year. So I'm interested in hearing maybe some of the things that took place, what it was, how you were involved in it.
The
Um,
Purge was the thing for Etika. It was the big quote unquote incursion, but not the incursion for Etika. They were calling it the Purge because of, I don't know, some fucking video Fit made with Sato, whatever. And it was originally called the lynching for like an hour. But
that's the proper name. That's the name we're gonna give it from now on.
no,
It sounds so much more fun than the Purge.
no. Within like an hour, people were like, dude, we can't keep it like this. And they changed it to the Purge. But I was in there for like the first hour of its creation. It was made actually with Police Mike, or quote Police Mike, and like
Yeah,
UFO Crossing and a lot of other people. I wasn't actually too involved in it, to be honest. Like, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but like I was there for like the first week, and then I realized, like, man, I don't want to put any effort into this. There's too
yeah.
many of these. It was like after the seventh incursion or eighth incursion, whatever. It was just kind of like, it seemed like it was happening every couple months, so I wasn't too thrilled about it. But some people were.
I want to know your thoughts on the whole Police Mike situation because that's something I'm pretty interested in too, considering the fact that I interviewed the dude, thinking that he was the
Yeah.
real Police Mike, and
On one hand,
it's crazy.
yeah, it is like, it's strange. It's objectively strange, but that guy we like to call him Lucas. He's a super fucking nice guy. Like, he's pretty down to earth and
Oh
he's
yeah,
chill.
he's so cool. I mean, fake Police Mike is honestly, if we're thinking about it, probably way cooler than actual Police Mike. But
That's exactly what everyone else thinks. The real Police Mike is
yeah,
probably some like cringy edgelord or something. I don't know.
like I just accept fake Police Mike because he's such a great guy, and it was such a really genuine interview that I had with him, regardless. And it makes me want to go back and watch it because just to see like him make up stuff because it had to all be made up, right?
Yeah, it was a very elaborate hoax. And once it all came out, he actually described it as like a burden being lifted off of him. Like, he's like, oh, finally, I could drop this shit. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty epic troll.
That's what I was just about to say. Very epic troll, very
And
epic bamboozle on the community.
he's
And
still around. He goes by a different name now, though.
yeah,
But
what does he go by?
like something like Barus, Barous.
Hmm.
And I'm like, dude, can I still call you Mike? He's like, yeah, I don't mind. You can still call me that.
Yeah,
So,
I'm still calling him Police Mike until the real Police Mike steps forward.
dude, he made it to the top rank we have in the Masons, called Worshipful. He essentially led the Spawn Masons for like a couple of months, which we'll get into the whole Spawn Mason thing later. But like, it's kind of weird how trusted he was, and he was also a very, very high ranking in the Imperium too. So like, everyone loved him. And then the news broke, and then he just kind of like poof disappeared. Now he's back. Yeah, it's kind of strange though.
So, while we're on the topic of players on 2B2T, there's plenty of them. Good, bad. I want to know which ones you think are good and bad. Maybe some that have helped you, some that have hurt you. Your opinions. I want to hear
I'm
all the juice, all the
I'm pretty
opinions.
biased, but in my opinion, oh jeez, where do I even fucking start? Let me open up this little chart I made.
Oh yeah, it's getting serious when they open up the KOS chart.
No, here you go, dude. This is something I made like a year ago. Oh wow, almost exactly a year ago, like to the day. I'm pretty biased because most of these people are Masons, and I put myself on it.
Here,
But
I'll put this picture up on the screen for everybody.
yeah, this is a 5x5 like alignment chart, because 3x3 wasn't enough. This is like, I was actually talking to most of these people, so it's not just my opinion. It's like sort of like the collective consciousness of who belongs where. And yeah, in my opinion, negative entropy is like probably one of the most wholesome people in this entire server. He's sort of the impromptu leader of the Masons right now after Hermetic Lock. Like Entropy does like all the work, all the stuff in the background that no one really sees. He does all the management. He's like the fucking leader, and he's also like ridiculously smart. He's like getting his PhD right now. So he's not actually getting his PhD, but he's like, I swear he's going to. He's in university for masters. But enough doxing Entropy. Like, I don't know. I get along with pretty much everyone on the server. Like even the people at the bottom, like Ox and Nordic and even Alpha Computer. Like we talk occasionally.
Oh
There's
yeah,
no one
they're
that
all very cool
really
people.
hate. Even Jared. Like I talk to Jared occasionally, even though he's probably, I don't know. Jared's weird, but I do talk to him occasionally, and he's like, sometimes he's mean, sometimes he's nice, but I don't care. You gotta talk to him because I'm bored. You gotta take everything he says with a grain of salt. I bet he's listening to this right now too. So
He probably, well, I mean, it's not live, so he'll listen to it when it.
No, I know. I mean,
when it pops up, but yes, this interview he probably is listening.
Yeah,
hello,
probably.
Jared.
Sup, Jared. Sup. Hello.
But
he goes through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah,
there's a lot more I could say, but
well, go on. I'd love to hear it. I'm sure everybody would love to hear it.
Don't fucking goad me into talking shit about Jared.
I'm calling you out.
Jared's griefed pretty much every single thing I've ever made, but I still don't hate him for it because it's just the nature of the server.
Exactly. I mean, everybody has their own thing. Everybody's going to do what they're going to do. You know, that's the fun of anarchy. And of the server in particular.
Yep. It's all sand castles, man.
So now that we've talked, about bases and people, there's some groups that you're very well known for, specifically Spawn Masons. So I want to know a lot about, and I think a lot of other people want to as well, about maybe some of the inner workings, how it works, who's in it, what you can say, about bases and just everything.
You're definitely asking the right person for this because, like, currently in the works, I'm making like this 10-part video series just about the history of the Masons, and it's not out yet, and I don't want to spoil too much, but I have like all these fucking scripts I've been writing for like the better part of a year, and I just need to make them into a video, and I'll release like one a day for 10 days. But I mean, I can tell you anything you want to know about it, like the founding, the structure of the whole group.
Just go through it.
The history. Well, as a top level overview, it's sort of split up into 3 different eras right now. It's like Spawn Masons V1, Spawn Masons V2, and we're currently in Spawn Masons V3. And V1 was, Hermetic Lock Masons in 2017. That's when it was founded. It was like February 2017 to August. And that was a fucking ridiculous time. Truth be told, I was actually not a Mason at that time. I joined at the very beginning of V2, so like September 2017. So like I just barely fucking missed it. But I know a lot about it because I know everyone who was in it back then, and they give me a lot of info. Every time I ask questions, they're always filling me in. But yeah, founded by Hermetic Lock. Hermetic Lock got all the fucking old fags in the server in one place. Chaotic time. And then there was a couple things that destroyed the Masons, but one of the big ones was actually Summermelon. Because a couple Masons were at Summermelon. It was like Crowbar. And I think Tashi was actually an initiate at the time, so he was not in the Masons, but he was like about to be. And Fit and Alpha Computer, also Masons at the time, griefed Summermelon. So it essentially turned into this big feud of like Masons harming other Masons. And if you know anything about our weird rituals and scripts, and like that's a big no-no. You don't harm other brothers. So it caused a big shitstorm, a big firestorm, and there were some other reasons, but that kind of caused the group to implode. And then for about a month, it wasn't a thing. And then I believe Ain and Henry were the ones who sort of started it back up, against the wishes of Hermetic Lock. Hermetic Lock actually didn't want Spawn Masons to exist at that point in, summer 2017. He saw it as like he'd rather have the group be this like, the star that shines brightest and explodes the hardest, and then just like forget about it. But Ain and Henry disagreed. They're like, no, this shit's too good to let fall. So they remade the Discord, invited all the people back, and they're like, hey, we need some new initiates. And I was in contact with Ain because I was in contact with Willy Roof, Summermelon, and Map Art shit. And Ain's like, hey, do you want to join? It was kind of out of the blue, too. Ain asked me, and like, I almost said no. because I was like up to that point very fucking against the idea of factions. I thought factions were fucking stupid, and I never wanted to join one. I always had that single player mindset of like, no man, I'm making it in the server on my own. I got my base, I got all the shit I need. But after sleeping on it, decided I was like, fuck it, I'll join. And that's how I got in at least. And then Spawn Masons V2 lasted up until like very beginning of 2019, like January 2019. The group was like almost dead at that point. It was like exactly what Hermetic Luck didn't want. It was like kind of a slow death. But a lot of shit happened, kicked a lot of people, inactive people specifically, and kind of reformed the whole thing. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I kind of ran out of steam there, but
okay. What are some of the, I don't know what to say, like code, maybe the kind of the rules you guys have in place for being a spawn mason? I know there's a lot of like specific when it comes to building, like blowing it up and stuff like that. Just interesting things like that that make it different from other groups.
we do a lot of votes. Anything that happens in the server that's like a big anyone getting kicked or anything that's important, there's usually a vote. So it's like sort of a democratic process. But yeah, the whole point of it is like, I guess if I had to like put it best, I think Hermetic Luck said it best. It's not Spawn Masons isn't just like another faction. It's more like a group of friends, and it sounds really cheesy and corny, but like it is sort of just a big group of friends, and that's why the standards we have are so strict, and that's why we don't let many people in. I'd say total, there's only like 30 or 40 Spawn Masons. Actually, let me get a real count right now. No, it's like slightly above 30 of like active core people. And when you're in the process of inviting someone to this group, it's not that they should just be trustworthy. It's like they should be mature. They should have a mic. They should speak. They should be someone that you would like to meet in real life. Like it's like you're trying to like invite a new friend. So it's kind of different.
And I mean,
like, you have to get along with them.
That's how groups should be on 2B2T, in my opinion. Because I mean,
Yeah.
big like industrial-esque groups like Imperium and those PvP groups like that take applications and they barely know the people they invite. I mean, that leads to inciting and
yeah, and I mean, it's no wonder Imperium's been incited like 10 different times. It's like
yeah,
a
and
bunch
they're
of
like dead now. All their bases are gone. They've been completely just uprooted.
Yeah, well, Imperium's not dead, but yeah, they're kind of like running on fumes at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the group is not. The movement isn't dead right now, but a lot of their stuff has been curb stomped.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't want to be a faction of screaming children. No offense, Emperor. But yeah, so the big thing is like, I don't know if you've seen screenshots or like pictures of meetings. Everyone is in there is called Brother. So I'm like Brother Todarac, Brother Entropy, all these people. And it's like the whole thing is like brothers don't harm other brothers. And yeah, so we try and get along. That's not always upheld. And in fact, something. Oh, geez, are you familiar with the whole fucking authentication crisis that just happened like a week ago?
Yeah, that's what's been on everybody's mind. Just the craziness of it.
Yeah, so that was Ox 22, who is a brother in the Spawn Masons, and he fucking lit the Spawn Masons on fire. I swear to God, like he essentially got on every single person's account without our consent, and just checked what's up, got our cords, didn't really do anything, and we're like, there was a big fucking vote to kick him or not. He did not get kicked for multiple reasons, but which I agree with. I don't think he should be kicked but just for that. But yeah, it's kind of just an example of like, all right, what's really, how do we treat each other in here? What's the deal? Like, what's the standards we go by?
Exactly, and I mean, I wouldn't see any problem in the fact that he just logged on, like to see where you guys were at. Would have been different if he griefed stuff, but I mean, I would have done that if you have all that power in your hands. I mean, definitely
frankly,
gonna.
If I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. Like, dude, that
Absolutely.
exploit, that shit is like Christmas times 1,000 for him. That's probably the best thing that's ever happened.
I mean, I can't imagine being able to access everybody without them knowing.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I think they only had it for something like 5 days total. which I still don't even know if I believe or not. Like, I don't know what to believe. I don't have any concrete proof of anything, which is kind of how shit goes on Tubi. Like, you'll never
I
get.
mean, exactly. They could still find a way to use it right now, and we wouldn't know until everybody else knows.
As far as I know, Mojang has patched it. That's the official story. But yeah, who fucking knows? Jared had
Exactly.
it, and Frickin' had it, and a couple other people. Baba J had it, and they made that Nerds Inc. video, which I thought was kind of fucking hilarious. Actually, Armor Smith was at the border, and they killed him back to spawn. So good for them.
Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks, and how has that affected the spawn masons in any way besides Ox? Has any
um,
bases been griefed as a result of that?
we
At
had
least
a really big
within your
base.
group.
We had a really big base called Smithville, which lasted from about May to January, May 2019 to January of this year. So that's like 8 months. But pretty much the biggest base the Spawn Masons have ever had in the history of the entire Masons. Is like super fucking big. Everyone was invited. There were like 30 or 40 people there. It was ridiculous. And I suspected that it got leaked from this authentication exploit. But I was told by Ox and by Jared that it was an insider thing. So I don't fucking know what to believe. Again.
Oh, so somebody could be inciting spawn masons.
It's possible. It's always a possibility. We had insider problems in the past too. Like late 2017, early 2018.
That'll be
There was a lot
interesting
of
to see how that develops, though, because if that wasn't
yeah.
him, then I mean, I
But
don't see why Ox would lie, considering he's
Smithville
in
was
the group.
our last great base. We have a couple bases in the pipeline right now. But where was I going with that? I forgot. I feel like there was a question I was supposed to answer, but I forget.
Just bases that were compromised as a result, from within the group. But
Oh yeah. So
yeah,
I don't think Smithville was, because it was like a month before all this happened. So they
yeah,
either
it's a
had it
little
for a
fishy.
month longer. Yeah. But bases come and go, as we were
Exactly.
talking about.
So, as we kind of wrap this up, I want to know what are some of your greatest accomplishments on the server, in your opinion? Top 3.
That's a good question. I wrote a bunch of lewd fanfics of like Fuffer and Autism Bot's wife, Juicy Bear, and it was like some just really fucking lewd, disgusting lesbian fanfics. And I wrote those and distributed those at Spawn. And for a while there, I was just known as that guy who wrote the fanfics. And then I made one between Ain and Sun Wukong, and it was just really fucking disgusting gay fanfics. And I wrote one with like just Fuffer. Yeah, that was fun. I need to get back into that shit again. That's not, I swear, that's not number one of my proudest one, but that's just one that comes to mind.
Definitely would be my number one. If I had to make a list.
Definitely my city. My city, I'll post a picture of it if you have never seen it. I don't know if you care or not, but
Yeah, I'll put if you send it, I'll put it up in the interview.
This city was my baby. There we go. This is a nice render taken by Jumbo Warrior, and
Dang,
it's hard to see, but
that head's crazy.
yeah, made by a Swedish friend of mine who is also in the Masons.
I love
But yeah,
huge statues like that.
it's hard to see, but the center of that city is really dense with towers. Like there's probably 10 or 12 different towers there in the center. And that's why it was called the City of Towers. And there was that big tower in the south that was under construction. And yeah, the really complicated base, very easy to get lost in it. It's deeper than it goes to. It's a lot of series of like alleyways and yeah, whatever. I could fucking talk about that shit forever, but oh well. That's probably another proud thing I'm proud of. And I don't know, I'll probably fucking be in a worship flow in the Masons. That's like pretty much the highest rank there is. The way the Spawn Masons is like governed and works is it's back in the day when it was just Hermetic Lock. He was like the glorious leader. It was just him. But now it's sort of more like a council. There's like a council of like 5 people, and we all have an equal say of like what we're doing. And it's weird. It's like an elected position, so you have to be voted into it, and it has to be 100% unanimous. If even one person says no, you're not doing it. And it's very easy to be removed too. I think it only takes 50% to be removed. So very, very strict. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool to like be at the forefront of like all the shit that's happening on the server. The Masons, I'm obviously fucking biased, but I view it as like a meta group, like a faction of factions. So like we have the leader of Imperium, like we got Emperor in there. We got Sun Easter Zombie, who's like the leader of the society. We got Boomerang Village, who is like the leader of his own little building group for, you know, he does all the holiday bases. And anytime we see someone who's like talented or I don't know, mature and accomplished, we're like, we got to get them in.
Yeah, it's like a 2B2T Illuminati.
It is. It's fucking Illuminati. Yeah.
You
Freemasonry.
guys have like Beyonce and Jay-Z. You got everybody. All the powerful names.
Very staunch flat earthers too. That's the official stance of the Masons is we're all flat earthers.
I mean, that's the only thing to believe. Trust nobody. But so what are some of your what do you foresee for 2B2T in 2020? The future of the server.
Oh jeez. For one, it's not going to update this year at all. It's going to stay 1.12. Yeah, that's about it. No, I'm kidding. There's going to be a temp map in about a month for April Fools, probably. Other than that, I mean, who fucking knows? Like, shit happens so unpredictably. And on one hand, these years feel like they're take forever to go by, like 2018 and 2019, where it seemed like long years. But on the other hand, like, these years are fucking flying by. Like, I did not think when I joined in 2016 that I'd still be doing this shit 4 years from now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's always changing, always different. And you can never truly predict what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
so
man, the server turns 10 years old this year. That's ridiculous. I think there's going to be a media shitstorm in December. I think there's going to be some like real mainstream media people reporting on the Minecraft server that has lived for 10 years.
And that has accumulated so much history and a player base. It's very interesting. That's why I think interviews like this are so relevant, just to capture what has happened and from the people that experienced it.
Yeah, legitimately, like, you're doing a good fucking service by talking to just people in the server. You have a pretty impressive resume of shit you've done. People you've interviewed.
I hope to build it up from here one day to interview the legendary Fit MC himself.
Oh my god!
I'm just kidding. I don't know if I'd have old pot.
Would you do it if you said yes?
Belly Pete on here.
Would you?
I don't know. Maybe for the memes. I don't know.
You'd get the dank views.
I really would. I'd really pull in that view count.
Do you know who Sal C1 is?
Yes, I do.
He'd be a pretty good one as well. He's also a Mason.
I'm actually I'm a huge fan of his content. So, like, actually, like, unironically. So,
yeah, me too. Yeah.
I think it would be really nice to do something with him eventually.
Yeah, not to brag, but I initiated him into the Masons. So
well, look at you.
I'm kidding. I love him. Sounds a cool lad.
But yeah, so I think this has been a very good interview. Do you have any closing remarks before I sign out?
I don't know. I'm not off the top of my head. Are you really pistol partners?
The mystery will stay alive.
I had to put it in.
All right. This has been good. DrEnderPickles signing out.